Welcome to another episode of Consumer Protection and You with consumer educator Ryan Lippe. Today we're going to be talking about buying used cars. So stay tuned. Welcome back to another episode of Consumer Protection and You with consumer educator Ryan Lippe. Ryan Lippe works with the State of Ohio Attorney General's Office, Dave Yost, in which he helps us to understand what we should know about buying various different things in Ohio. And today we're going to be talking about what to know about buying used cars, either from a dealership or one-on-one. Ryan, it's a pleasure always talking with you.
Great. Nice to be with you. I look forward to this topic.
What is the proper ways or proper things to look at when buying a used car?
Used cars is a fairly complicated category because you want to do the right thing because you're spending so much money. Yet you're buying a product that is fairly complex that can have lots of problems with it if you're buying a used car. That's why it's important to choose a reputable dealership and it's important to choose a reliable car. Unless, of course, you work on cars yourself and you just like fixing them. Most of us, on the other hand, rely on a professional. So we want to have at least low maintenance expenses and low cost of ownership. Actually, the motor vehicle category is the number one complaint category at the Ohio Attorney General's Office in our consumer protection section. Out of the 24,000 complaints we got in 2020, a lot of them dealt with motor vehicles, either buying a new car, buying a used car, or repairing those types of vehicles. With new cars, the Lemon Law will apply. So if you have a problem over and over again, and the dealership and the manufacturer have tried to fix it several times, you may be able to get your money back and reverse the transaction. You give back the car that's a lemon, you get reimbursed the full cost. Now, what you don't get from a used car sale is that lemon law, because by definition, lemon law applies in the first year of a car's lifespan or 18,000 miles, whichever comes first. So that eliminates most used cars from having the lemon law applied to those consumers. So you don't get the same protections when you buy a used car, especially if it's sold as is with no warranty. Most new cars have a nice warranty, they may be more reliable, and they have the lemon law to help protect you as a consumer.
One of the things that I found with used cars is that many times we don't necessarily grow dissatisfied with the car or we want something new. We usually sell the car because it's becoming very expensive to upkeep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would imagine that buying somebody else's car, you're also buying the mechanics behind that car too.
Yeah, so you're inheriting whatever reliability or lack of reliability is, involved in the current state of that car. That's why it's so important, armed with a little bit of facts and a little bit of information on consumer reviews and reviewing a vehicle's identification number. We'll talk about that in a minute. But through the VIN number, the vehicle identification number, you can find a little more out about the vehicle. Things that a dealer or a individual consumer may neglect to tell you, or just more information to give you a more robust impression of where that vehicle has been bought and sold and repaired over the several years since it was new out of the factory.
You have a publication, don't you, that sort of helps us as consumers to look at what's good?
Yeah, several years ago when we saw the issue of motor vehicles pop up as our number one complaint issue, we created our used car buyer checklist, and it's absolutely free for consumers. If you go to www.ohioprotects.org, or give us a call toll free at 800-282-0515. But of course, it's simply a download away and it's totally free. Let's take a look at that publication now. Okay, so you'll see our used car buyer checklist on the screen, brought to you by Dave Yost, the Ohio Attorney General. He's our 51st Attorney General. And this shows a fairly robust list of questions and little subtopics of things you need to consider before purchasing a used car. And so the number one thing to do, first off, is to choose a reputable dealer. Unless you decide to choose going at it alone with an individual, you'll be buying from a dealership. So you want to learn the dealer's reputation. You want to read consumer reviews, what have gone right and wrong for other consumers when dealing with that dealership. So you want to go to sources like the Ohio Attorney General's office, like the Better Business Bureau, do some internet searches and find out about the dealer before you start negotiating.
Sometimes you just can't please some individuals, and oftentimes as a result, they put in a negative review.
Right. That's why you really need to look at the consensus. You need to look at more than one review. You need to realize that just because it's said on the internet doesn't mean it's all, it's true. A lot of times a dealership may have their side of the story. And if they haven't rebutted the allegation, you can't really take everything at face value because people can try to disparage a dealership or try to ruin a dealership. Maybe they're from a competitor, or maybe they just have an axe to grind. So you want to make sure to do your research, but also look into both sides of the story. And that's something that you can do by going to the dealer, by going to the website at ohioattorneygeneral.gov. All of our complaints are public record, as are the responses by the dealerships. So if you ask for a complete complaint record of a dealer with our office, you should get the consumer side of the story as well as whatever they rebutted from that allegation. And the Better Business Bureau sometimes even does letter grades on merchants and on folks that buy and sell things. So you might even be able to get a letter grade on a vehicle dealership. Do you want to deal with an A+, or do you want to deal with a D- or an F? In terms of how a dealership handles consumer complaints and how reputable they are. Also on this used car buyer checklist, most of the rest of the fact sheet, the palm card here, deals with the car itself. You want a car that's in acceptable condition. You have to inspect the car's exterior and interior. Ask to take an extensive test drive. There are dealers that may even let you have the car over a long weekend or over a nighttime, so you can sort of test it in different levels of reliability on wet pavement, on highways, as well as on rural roads and stop and go traffic. All those types of traffic conditions are important to trying to ascertain a car's condition. But one of the most important things we recommend on this used car buyer checklist is to have an independent mechanic of your choosing inspect the car. And so if you take your car to a reputable mechanic, someone you've used before, or someone who is known for being fair, for a little bit of money, they probably will charge, unless it's a family friend or unless they just want to do you a favor. Those mechanics will charge you something to look over the car, but it's certainly worth usually peace of mind. So does it need brakes? Does it need rotors? How's its engine? What kind of condition is the car in? One important aspect is to learn the vehicle identification number during your research process. Every car has a VIN. Every car has one. So knowing the vehicle identification number, which is often found on a panel in the car. Usually it's at least right beneath the windshield on the inside of the car. And learning the VIN, you can do some research online. And you can research the car owner, the most recent odometer reading, and other facts going to www.vehiclehistory.gov. So that's www.vehiclehistory.gov. There's another thing you can do through the National Insurance Crime Bureau, and that is to check for issues like potential flood damage. And you can do that at the National Insurance Crime Bureau to figure out if insurance claims have been made with that vehicle identification number. Has the car been totaled in an accident? Has the car been flooded out through a hurricane or other damage in a dense rain area of the country? So you can do that through www.nicb.org, nicb.org. You can also look at safety recalls, and you definitely want to look at all the service records and find out a little bit about the car's history. You almost have to be a detective and look at each step of the car, make sure it's undergone maintenance that's required or at least recommended for the car, like oil changes and tune-ups over the years, things like that. So you want to get a copy of all the service records if they exist for that vehicle. And you can do that from the seller of the vehicle, like the dealer that you want to buy the car from.
Going to a reputable dealership, such as a Chevrolet dealership or a Ford, they already put in all the information. If you go to them and you have your car serviced, they put that into various different places. However, if you purchase it from a used car sales place that's not a large dealership, sometimes that information may not get put in as much as it would be in the other dealership.
Sure. You get a lot. Sometimes you get a little bit of mileage by going to a large dealer that deals in volume or that is a little more robust in terms of what they furnish you as a prospective buyer. They may even offer you a limited warranty with a used vehicle, especially if it's considered to be a certified used car. So if you want something that maybe give you a little more peace of mind, you may go with what's known in the industry as a certified used car or pre-owned car. It's not to say you won't have any problems with it, but it gives you a little more peace of mind. Sometimes it comes with a warranty. And of course, if you're buying a car in maybe its second or third or fourth year of ownership, it may still have some of the original factory warranty, which usually transfers from the original buyer to you as the new owner of that pre-owned car. So you may have that warranty that you can use to fix and repair certain parts of the car, but you definitely want to look over the warranty, ask questions about whether the warranty covers the powertrain, which is generally the engine and the transmission, whether it covers bumper to bumper, whether it covers every little thing that might break, like the CD player if it has one, or the electric windows. There are things like that that may be included or excluded in a dealership's warranty or in a manufacturer's warranty. So it's important to ask all the questions you have before you start signing on the line or giving someone your money.
One of the things that it comes down to is really price. When we're looking at a used car, we want the best price that is available. So what are some suggestions on getting a fair price?
Well, you certainly want to know what the ballpark is for the vehicle you're about to buy. And you can research the price using some guides that are available both online, and may be able to pick one of these up at a dealership for you to at least look at. But they cost money if you're going to go buy them. The National Automobile Dealers Association, NADA, has a guidebook that the industry typically uses, and that's available at nadguides.com. There are also a couple of major pre-owned car estimation tools available at edmunds.com and Kelley Blue Book. It's kbb.com. Again, we don't endorse either one of those necessarily or NADA guides, but it's important to know that those are tools in your toolbox in terms of finding what the ballpark would be for a car in the condition you're seeing it at the dealership. And of course, you need to know what your monthly payment's going to be if you're financing the vehicle, but it's important to concentrate on how much you're paying in total for the vehicle, not just your monthly payment. But if you are financing, the monthly payment comes into effect, and you want to know about any late fees or terms and conditions of paying for that used car.
You know, in talking about the fair price, again, we can mislead ourselves in thinking that we're really getting a great deal.
Absolutely. And if something doesn't seem quite right, or if it sounds like it's too good to be true, it probably is. And I want to approach that topic a couple of ways, and I'll try to do so quickly. First of all, we do see scams sometimes, not with usually reputable dealerships, but with individuals selling cars. They may paste a photo of a fairly recent car that's been manufactured, and they may claim that it's a very low price because the owner really needs to get out of the country, or the owner needs to transfer to another state and doesn't want to bring the car with them. So it's important to concern yourself with why the car is priced where it's at. Be careful. It's a big red flag if the offer is too good to be true. If they're offering you a 2 or 3 year old car for much less than you know it's worth, be very skeptical and learn about the vehicle. Do your personal examination of the vehicle, and never give out any money unless you've actually seen the car for yourself. We do have times where a scammer will post a picture of a vehicle, everything looks good, they'll claim that the owner needs to leave town quickly or is being transferred to another country for work, and that's why it's offered at such a low price, when really it may be just another scam, and whatever you pay towards the vehicle may simply be going to a fraudster. So just be careful, and be especially cautious if someone wants money from you simply to take down the ad and to secure the offer without actually showing you the vehicle first. Also, if you are trading in a car, so this wouldn't be your first time necessarily buying a vehicle, you want to confirm everything with the dealer about the handling of that trade-in. And you want to negotiate the trade-in value of your car, usually separately from the actual process of buying the new car or buying the car that you're looking to receive. So you want to know how interest is being calculated. You want to be careful in determining the value of both the car you're getting as well as the car that you're selling. If you're looking to trade in a car and its title has a lien on it or lien against it, whichever the case may be, you need to make sure all of that's taken care of. And also, on the other side of things, you need to make sure you get your title on time. We have a process in place if your title does not get to you within 40 days of you purchasing the vehicle from, usually it would be a dealership in that case. So a title is really what tells you that you own the vehicle. So if you haven't gotten a title within 40 days, you should give a call to our office if you're having a problem. There is what's called the Title Defect Rescission Fund. And that's, I know that's a very long term, but that is a fund that can go to pay you back if, in fact, you're not given your title within 40 days from a dealer. And then we go after the dealer to pay back the fund if there is a problem with the purchase and with the title being given to you. Also, the other important thing is knowing that you are usually responsible for repairs and maintenance if the car is sold to you as is with no warranty. So once you drive off the lot, you are generally responsible for those repairs. And any contract you sign, an extended service contract or any kind of contract like that, you want to carefully read its terms and conditions. It may not be as as consumer friendly as the manufacturer's original warranty. It could be limited in terms of what it covers. It could be limited in terms of how much it will pay for, or how long it'll be in effect while you're owning the vehicle. So if you're trying to negotiate the fair price of a car and you're offered an extended service contract, that is yet another document you have to look at and potentially negotiate the price of when you're buying a used car from a dealer.
I know that when we purchase a new car at a dealership, there seems to be a mountain of papers that the individuals are saying initial here and sign there. And I'm sure if you decided to read it, they wouldn't object to that. But it just seems that when they put in 15, 16 different pages of small print information, it's very difficult to really look at that information on the fly before you sign it.
But, if they're trying to rush you and put pressure on you, it's important to stay patient, and it's important to tell them that you're just trying to protect yourself. It really is important now more than ever to read all of the agreements before you sign them and agree to them. Read the fine print. And if you have any questions on the fine print, or for that matter, even the large print, ask questions to the dealer. Make sure you're getting thorough answers, and never leave with a feeling that you had unanswered questions and you weren't satisfied with the answers. If you paid money for the vehicle, you want to make sure that it's after you've fully read and considered all of the terms and conditions. And so if you have something that's unanswered, don't go through with the process until you get a sufficient answer, and get it in writing. It's really important that people get everything in writing. If the dealership is going to tell you that you're going to get A, B, and C in terms of service and protection, make sure all that's in writing. And if you have any problems, you can certainly come to the Ohio Attorney General's office. We do have an informal dispute resolution process where we can get you involved in trying to get money back or a refund or whatever you think you may be owed. Just remember, there is no guarantee, especially if the car is as is with no warranty.
One of the things that should be considered is if I'm purchasing from a single owner rather than a dealership, there's not going to be a lot of paperwork there.
Absolutely. And you want to make sure that all your questions are answered. At that point, you may want to make sure that you have sufficient paperwork in terms of how the vehicle's been maintained. And I also wanted to end with just a few tips on what to expect in terms of going through the paperwork at a dealer or a used car lot. Okay, as you'll see, according to our used car buyer checklist, you want to confirm that all verbal promises and representations about the car and its condition are in the written agreement. You don't want to sign for something and be told something different orally, or just when you're talking with the dealer or with the salesperson. You want to make sure everything is consistent and that there aren't any blanks on the written agreement that haven't been filled in yet. They shouldn't expect your signature on something that's incomplete. And you want to make sure to get a copy of the written agreement and keep all of your materials that you have been signing and that you've been given copies of. And again, a title is really important. You should obtain the title from the dealer within 30 days of the purchase. Other areas of the law guarantee you a title within 40 days of the purchase. So you do want to make sure around that 40th day at the very latest that you have, where your contract is and that it's in your hands ASAP. And again, based on reports of fraud, we definitely caution against purchasing a car that you have not seen yet. You want to make sure to get a photo of the car, as well as be able to examine the car in person, under the hood, all the insides and outsides of the vehicle before your purchase.
Hey, we're talking with Ryan Lippe. Ryan Lippe is a consumer educator with the State of Ohio Attorney General's Office, David Yost. Ryan, Great information. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing those bits of information.
Great. Thanks so much. And if people have questions, if you need our help center, if you have a complaint against the dealer or anyone selling a car to you, 800-282-0515 or online at www.ohioprotects.org. We are here to help at the Ohio Attorney General's office. Thanks so much.